gentlemen, hey, congratulations for American Sausage Standoff. I was going to call it Gutterbee with the original name, but
Thank you.
so let's start off with the easy question. What attracted you to a project like American Sausage Standoff?
Well, the film itself is a bit of a sausage. It's like all this kind of, you don't know what's in a sausage. It's made from all this stuff that, where does it come from? Such diverse ingredients, parts of the animal and parts of which animal you're not really sure, and the film itself is a bit like that. All the ingredients that Ulrich kind of packed into his screenplay was all verbatim quotes from real Americans, from documentaries that he'd been researching, news stories, interviews. Every line in it, he swore blind, was an actual quote from a real person. And to try to cram that into like a 90-minute screenplay and make sense of it, a story that had that had specific characters and aims, was really ambitious. And so I wasn't really getting it when I was reading the script, and I wasn't really sure about like, how could this work and what could I do with this part? I'm not really sure. And I had a lot of conversations with Ulrich about it leading up. And then Anthony Mantle, who's a cinematographer on this film, is a dear friend and colleague of Ulrich's and also of mine, though me and Ulrich didn't know each other before this. And I'd worked with Anthony over 30 years or something, and he's someone that has a real instinct for the unknown, like going into the unknown and finding these projects that are doing something different. And he really believed in the film, and Ulrich really believed in it, and that is the magic ingredient for me. Like, you can have a huge budget, you can have amazing actors attached, you can have an incredible screenplay, but if people are just taking that for granted, then the film is probably not really going to be anything special. It doesn't matter how many dollars you throw at it or how many stars, whatever. And I think for me, I've come to recognize or believe that the magic ingredient is that heart and soul, that belief that people have in something. And over like many kind of conversations, I became convinced of that was sincere, and I wanted to, that allowed me to give myself to the film, which was that allowed me to do that. And I think that element really has survived through the film. It does have like this heart, as kind of unconventional and different that the film is from from a traditional sort of comedy. Mm-hmm. It carries this heart with it, like this warmth. And even though it's kind of having fun with these xenophobic characters and scenarios, it's not cruel, he still has a big heart and an idea of redemption,
Absolutely. I find this film refreshing because it's nothing I ever seen before for story wise.
Huh.
But I love your character because your character is also very unusual, where he has a passion for sausages. So what is your knowledge of sausages? Did you have to do your own research prior to the film?
Yeah, well, Ulrich, the director, had done a lot of research when he was writing the screenplay. He'd done tons of research, a lot of historical stuff that he shared with me, and we went through the whole history of the sausage and where it originated and how it came to America and the different warring families that were, at war with each other, and battles that had been fought for kind of ownership of, the genuine sausage, the sausage wars that had been fought, and so I learned a lot about that through, Ulrich's guidance, and then I found out when I was in New Mexico filming this that Ulrich was vegan. And I haven't eaten meat since I was 11 years old. So I was concerned, I'd said, I'd hate to tell you this, but I'd like for the sausages that I use, if I have to eat any of it, then I'd like that to be vegetarian, some vegetarian sausage meat. And Ulrich was like, I'm vegan. All of the sausages will be vegan. They'll all be vegan. Like there'll be absolutely no sausage meat on them. So like that was kind of like fascinating. I couldn't really get my head around that he'd written this story, and also he doesn't look like typical idea of a vegan. He's like this big, strong, handsome, well-developed guy, and so but that was very funny to find that out.
Well, you learn something all the time, and I met Ulrich before, so you're right. I would never guess him to be a vegan.
Yeah.
So Ewen, tell us about your transformation, because we know you're Scottish, and how you transform from a Scottish person to a German person in a film like this.
Well, it's not really about, for me, I never really think about, first of all, where the person is from. I always think, like, who is this person? What is it about this person that I can recognize, that I can enjoy? And that's never anything to do with where that person is from, or what, if they're male or female, or if they're whatever. Like, what is it about this person that I recognize that is, that I can connect with? And so with Edward, what I recognize is a very depressed man who's at the end of his line and is facing suicide, really, one way or another. And this is his last attempt to realize some kind of purpose with his life. And his life has been a series of crises, and his mental health is really tenuous, and this is his last attempt to achieve this idea of what he feels he's supposed to be, for his parents, his dead parents, what he's supposed to serve for them, to serve their dream of building this utopia in the desert, in a way, like the gourmet house of refuge to bring joy to the world through sausage, and the real, the real thing. And also that search, quest for authenticity, really reminds me of Werner Herzog, who is this iconic German figure that I'd worked with many years ago, alongside Anthony and John Mantle. We made a film together back in the 90s, and that quest for authenticity, for the real thing. I could kind of stitch various things together, like that I could enjoy, and just find ways to enjoy that, because he's on the one hand, there's something very pathetic about Edward, but then on the other hand, you see he has this incredible metal, this really steely, powerful unmovable kind of conviction, you know, and he just needed this someone to believe in him, you know. This guy that breaks into his house looking for, you know, a television set to steal or something. He needed this impetus, you know. This guy turns out to be someone that's willing to kind of invest in Edward's dream for a minute, you know, and see if there's any mileage there, you know. And without that, I think Edward would have just drank himself into an early grave or strung himself up, you know, taking his own life. But it's that idea of belief and the power of belief that I've always been fascinated with. And it's what fuels our whole film industry. That's what fuels it, is it's belief, people believing in a project. Otherwise the project doesn't happen, you know. People have to believe in it to put their dollars into it, you know, to fund it, to kind of come on board as an actor. You know, you have to kind of believe that there's something there. Until that's achieved, there's no project. You know, as a film is just an idea, it's just a screenplay, it's just a script sitting on somebody's desk or on the shelf. But once people believe in it, believe that it's happening, and believe that it's worth making, then it happens. And you know, this film ties together a lot of things for me, you know, like the power of belief, what people believe about each other, you know, fear of the outsider. That's a belief. That's like a belief that the outsider is bad, you know, the outsider is dangerous, the outsider is going to, you know, I must resist, otherwise I will be annihilated by, you know, this idea that culture is a fixed thing that doesn't move. Whereas I believe that culture is something that is constantly evolving, and we're part of that evolution, like it or not. You know, we're just a stage in the evolution of culture, and that's the culture of ideas as much as the culture of everything else. You know, the culture of food, or the culture of you know, our ethnicities, and we're all, you know, just in a snapshot point of the evolution of our culture. And as actors, we're kind of, I believe we're like kind of foot soldiers in like just pushing forward at the culture, you know, in kind of inconsequential ways. We're all kind of like marching forward these ideas and, you know, attempts to kind of, you know, throw light on something or perspective on something, or, you know. So there's a sense of purpose. I'm really rambling now. I really kind of like expanding like on a very simple, specific question, way out of bounds. But so maybe it's time to ask the next question, Gig. Sorry.
Here, I'll give you a tight question. Your dancing with Anthony Starr was remarkable. I that German dancing, what was it called? A Schuhplatter? I had to look it up myself. How much choreography did you go through with that?
We worked hard to learn routines for the Schuhplatter, and we worked with an Indian dance company that were in, I don't know, in Albuquerque. There was a Hindi dance company there, and they taught us the Schuhplatter, this German dance, which was like amazing. Yeah, they ran us through these different routines. You know, it wasn't easy, and when it came time to shoot that stuff, there was no time to shoot it either. We were like, so it's such a pressurized shoot. There was no time to do anything in this, you know, like. And so when it came time to shoot that stuff, we were really kind of struggling to kind of make it look like we knew what we were doing. But the lederhosen sells it a lot. The lederhosen does most of the work, you know. We just have to like sort of stump our feet up and down a bit and smack each other's buttocks.
I think that is terrific. Well, one more thing before I let you go. The one thing I love about your career is that you choose very interesting characters, from Transpotting to Wonder Woman and to this film, American Sausage Standoff. What do you usually require for yourself, like when you look into these characters that you want to portray?
Well, I must say, I have absolutely been very fortunate in, just the random chances of parts that I've been asked to play. There has been a lot of good fortune there, but at the same time, I do believe that you can do something with any part. You can have fun with any part, and so I believe that is my job. Whatever the part is that comes in, like, I am looking for ways that I can have fun with that. What can I do with that is not something that anyone else can do with it? Like, what can I do with that? Like, how can I enjoy that? Like, is there a way for me to enjoy that? And usually there is. Usually there's something in it that I feel like I can bring something to this that no one else can bring to that. And if it doesn't have that, then I'm lost. I don't really know what to do, and I probably won't take it on. But if I can see something, I feel like I can see a way to have fun with this. It doesn't matter if it's like the most despicable killer in the world or who it is. If I can see a way that there's something I can do with this or bring to this that is from me, or through me, then that's enough. That's enough for me.
Absolutely. Well, I think you're a wonderful actor, and you've done a terrific job, particularly in this film, American Sausage Standoff. So, Ewen, thank you for speaking to us, and hopefully I get a chance to talk to you again in the next project.
Yes, I hope so. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.